In this video, we're going to really candidly talk about why you as a coach may be afraid of the spotlight and stepping out online, creating content consistently, putting yourself out there, really sharing your authentic perspectives, your values, your opinions, what you care about in a very real way, and why it might feel daunting for you. And we'll also likely touch on why marketing is hard for you or why you might feel like you suck at marketing. We're going to cover a fair amount today in this video. And this is a good time also to introduce myself if you don't know who I am. I'm Byron, and I've been in this business helping coaches grow their business and get clear on their message and market to attract clients now since about 2018. And I've been a coach since 2011. And I got started in this business not because I had a background in marketing and selling and thought, hey, coaches are a great market. A lot of people do that. But for me, it started because I was a coach first and foremost, and I was immensely frustrated with the challenges of getting my message clear and articulating this is what I do, while knowing when I have a coaching session with someone, it's deeply transformative, it's gold, and the ripple effect that has on themselves, their community at large. And yet, when I'm talking about it with someone that really is not experienced with coaching, not experienced with my coaching, it felt like a lot was being lost in translation. And I would meet a lot of coaches and ask them, like, tell me more about what you do. And I would just hear a lot of fluffy, vague, nebulous language. And I'm like, is that what I sound like to people? And this gap really frustrated the hell out of me. And I'll go into this more in another video, but the values of marketing and how most people were teaching me to market myself online as a coach made me throw up in my mouth a lot. And so I got into this business not because I saw an opportunity, but more so because this aggravated me. It pissed me off so much how limiting, how ineffective, and how misaligned most of the advice was on marketing and selling coaching. And I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. I just felt in my heart, this is the direction I need to go. So that's me. Back to the topic of marketing. Why does it feel daunting? Why is stepping into the spotlight one of the scariest things as a coach? I don't mean just posting content in general. I don't mean just giving tips and tricks and creating very bland little carousels on mindfulness and productivity and how to achieve flow state. I mean really sharing details about you and your current journey. I don't mean talking about how you were a mess in the past and all the struggles that you had, but now you really have all your shit together because you realized a few key truths. And now you're projecting this image of being absolutely 10 out of 10 across the board in your life, like a lot of people do on social media. I mean, creating a real human connection with your audience, a flawed human connection with your audience, an imperfect human connection where you share who you are for better or worse without overindulging, without killing and tanking your credibility. How do you step into the spotlight and really vocalize who you are at the core to really build that connection with your audience? Because I'll tell you, if you can do that, it is the most valuable asset in actually creating clients. It's not talking about your coaching. It's not demonstrating your expertise like everyone tells you. There's ways to do that, and we'll touch on that. It's not talking about the success stories of your clients. Really, what it comes down to at the end of the day is showing your audience that who you are online and offline is mostly the same person. And that you're in an attempt to bridge that gap more and more every single day. And that who they're connecting to online is the same as who they connect to when they meet you, who they connect with when you're coaching them. There's a congruence there. There's a congruence between what you say, what you market, and the image you're projecting and how you actually are. That's actually the biggest factor. Why? Because as a coach, you're talking about authenticity. You're talking about living a life for your clients according to their values. You're talking about being mindful, aware, self-aware, living a life of high vitality. You're talking about being productive, achieving those flow states, getting more done, hitting your goals. And when you're talking about those things, and not embodying those things, most people think you can get away with that. You can't. You cannot get away with it. Your audience feels it, potential clients sense it, whether they can put their finger on it or not. It's what tanks your business. When mentally, emotionally, and even, dare I say, spiritually, you're out of accordance with what you're putting out there. So this means that you need to step into the spotlight. It means that you need to risk rejection, embarrassment, failure, being seen a certain way. And a lot of people will say that's largely because of imposter syndrome. You know, the cliche in this space is that, well, who am I to say this? I feel like an imposter. I know I'm not a 10 out of 10, but I'm trying to help my clients, get here. And there's a lot of pressure to show up consistently, to share who you are, share everything about you, and to continue putting out that persona of having all your shit together. When you know that's not the case. You don't have all your shit together. No one does. I don't have all my shit together. The point of this video is not to tell you, well, you better get all your shit together. No one's going to buy from you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a difference between being on track with that, where you recognize incongruence and you bridge the gap, being blind to that or not caring to. Only one of those three paths will bring you clients. So why is the spotlight so daunting? Why is it so scary? Sure, imposter syndrome to an extent, but that's not really it to me. That's not the real reason why. The real reason why stepping into the spotlight is so daunting is because of your fear of misattunement. Think about it as a coach. Think about what you're really good at. You're really good at paying attention to subtle body language cues. If someone is talking to you and there's subtle changes in their eye contact with you, really subtle, not much, you sense it. And if you're a really good coach, you pick up on that and say, hey, what's going on? What's showing up for you? You might hear changes in tone, changes in breathing, changes in physiology. You're a good listener. You're a good active listener. You don't just hear what you want to hear or quickly summarize it. You deeply listen. You're fully present in your sessions. Part of your magic is you are deeply attuned to your ideal client. You are really in sync with them. And through that, you can facilitate. You can guide them. You can ask questions and see what shows up for them that reveals insight, that reveals gold. It's a big part of the reason people hire you. It's a big part of the reason people trust you as well. They feel like, wow, somebody is really seeing me. I feel seen here. You're not misunderstanding me. And of course, you're also not just throwing a bunch of information at me saying, take notes, and this is what you need to do, while ignoring the eye rolls, the lack of interest, me disagreeing. That would be terrible coaching. It'd go against virtually any school of coaching's principles of effective coaching. Imagine just ignoring the person. Shut up and take notes. You would be a good coach. Your superpower is built around attunement. And for a lot of you, that also comes from real world experience. You meet a variety of people. Maybe you had a background in HR. Maybe you had a background coaching people in your organization. Maybe you had a background coaching people in your organization, weren't even being paid for it, but you just found out that's what you were doing, didn't even know what it was called, and later realized, well, maybe I'm really good at this coaching thing. Maybe I should do it professionally. All because you're really good at attunement. And as you've seen, a lot of people suck at attunement. How many times have you been in a conversation with someone that just won't stop talking, ignoring all social cues and signs that you're not interested? That's not you, though. You pick up on that. You are intimately present with your ideal client. Whether you see them in person, Zoom, phone, whatever it is. This is going on. When you are creating content, whether it's writing something, putting a video out, whatever it is, you do not have that benefit anymore. You might get some information back, but it's delayed. It's not instantaneous. In other words, you don't have someone watching you live giving you an eye roll or a shrug. You don't have the benefit of speaking to a live audience and noticing when everyone's riveted, everyone's paying attention, when people are on their phone, people are checking out in the back row. You don't have that information. You are speaking into a void. You have no idea how people are responding. You don't know if they love it, they hate it, they disagree with it. You have no clue. It is the complete opposite experience of a coaching session. In a coaching session, you don't have to have an outline, a framework, here's what we're going to cover today. You can. And again, there's different schools of thought on this. But I know you've also had sessions where you show up together and it's, all right, let's see what shows up today. Where do you want to go today? What's your goal today? What are you challenged with today? And the entire session is free flow. You can do that because things emerge with instant reactivity, back and forth. You ask a series of questions, they react to it, prompts a new insight. That new insight leads you somewhere else. You could probably work with somebody if you really wanted to for 2 to 3 hours at a time, if not more, one-on-one, at minimum, especially if you love it. Content, putting yourself out there does not work that way. So, as a coping mechanism, we tend to post vanilla, bland perspectives to hedge against that. We don't really push the amount of risk. So we say a lot of safe things that the vast majority of coaches would agree with in our little bubble, in our little world. Actualize your potential. Live according to your values. Live your best life. Live a high vitality life. Cultivate self-awareness. Cultivate mindfulness. Cultivate thoughtfulness. Cultivate curiosity. It's the same 10 to 15 cliches. If you really want to bore yourself to death, intensely follow about 20 to 30 coaches on any social media platform. And when I say intensely follow, read and watch their stuff consistently. And you will find they all hit on the same 10 to 15 topics, by and large. Different niches, different context, same ideas, same principles, over and over and over again. If you really want to bore yourself to death, go for it. Because these are all safe. They're universally accepted in the world of coaching. But that doesn't create attention. It doesn't pull someone into a level of genuine curiosity to find out how you can help them. It gets ignored. Now, you're going to see examples, of course, coaches that have built big audiences and think, well, they're doing it. Why can't I? Well, they're not you. And they've likely built that audience through a variety of tactics that you're not doing, for better or worse. And you might not have the desire to engage in those tactics or spend as much time on social media as they do and they did. You might not have a team of people working on your behalf like they do and they did. So you can continue posting shallow coaching platitude kind of content where you're not really risking anything. It's not a controversial opinion. It's not a controversial perspective. You're not going against the status quo. You're not offering any real insight. You're just kind of safely regurgitating what others have said before you that's already been accepted. It's riding the coattails of insight. That's what most coaches do online. We ride the coattails of insight. We quote other people, we repost other people, and we even dare to create our own ideas. It's already a copycat version of what someone else has said and what they've copied and what they've copied and what they've copied and what they've copied. And that's how most human beings operate in general with their creativity. But now make a post on what pisses you off right now. In your space, in your field, what pisses you off? What really aggravates the hell out of you? It's a different story. Now your brain starts to wonder, well, wait a minute. Can I go there? Can I say that? Can I get away with that? But they're going to think this. There's going to be a point in your brain where your brain tells you, but blank won't like it. For me, posting initially on Facebook, it was my family. They're not going to like it. It's going to be really awkward at family reunions and seeing like my aunts, my uncles, they're seeing this stuff. And I'm sharing very real, passionate opinions about corporate America and marketing and sales. And it's going to be some really weird conversations where they don't understand coaching at all. They don't understand me really at all. And they're hearing my intimate ideas. For you, it might be, hey, I'm on LinkedIn and I have former employers that are going to be reading this stuff. I have former employees that are going to be reading this stuff. I have friends, I have peers, I have colleagues. What will they think? It's a fear of misattunement. You have no idea if they're going to resonate with that naked, raw truth. You have no clue. That is why it's so daunting to stay in the spotlight. You might get rejected. You might have someone come in and trash your post. This is bullshit. You completely missed the mark. You are wrong. You are full of shit. Stop posting. Whether you actually ever get that or not is a very real possibility. And think about how much that hurts. Think about how much that stings. The first few times that happens, it really hurts. It does. It stings a lot, especially if you care about attunement, especially if one of your values is deep human connection and curiosity. That's going to hurt a lot. You're also likely not going to click on their profile and check them out and realize they're a loser and it's not someone you need to be listening to. But that's besides the point. It still hurts emotionally. And this links back to your childhood. If you really want to go there, we can go there. We can go all the way back. Here's what got me into coaching. I'll tell you right now. And you may resonate with this. Growing up, I was yelled at a lot. I didn't have the confidence to share my voice and my opinions a lot. I grew up in that kind of household where it was disagreements are not tolerated. So I learned to keep quiet. I learned to not really share. I found creative outlets where I could through filmmaking, through writing, through art, through theater, through acting. But in my own family, that dynamic wasn't safe. There's a lot of verbal abuse, right? And so I learned to not walk on eggshells, to not let things create rifts at home. I learned to carefully attune to who I was speaking to. I learned to pay attention to how others were reacting to what I was saying as to not piss them off, as to not upset them, as to not offend them. So it created a deep story in my brain. I cannot offend, hurt, piss people off. It is a beautiful vehicle for coaching where I'm literally financially rewarded for that dynamic. It's not about what I want. It's not about what I want to say. It's not about me speaking my truth. It's about you. It's about what do you want? Where do you want to be? What are you stuck on? Oh, tell me more about that. What's challenging to you about that? It's the perfect vehicle. Now, I'm not assuming that's why you got into coaching. It's not the only reason I got into coaching. Of course, I love it. Of course, I'm good at it. Of course, it just felt right. It's part of my purpose. It's part of why I'm here. To help actualize potential and transformation. But that's the emotional reason why I'm in it. And that's why stepping into the spotlight was terrifying for me for so long. So uncomfortable. You know, making little podcasts and doing interviews and it seems to be going well. And I get one comment, just an innocent little comment about feedback. And I recoil. And my brain wants to either vilify that person. They didn't know. They don't know what they're talking about. Or just kind of go, oh, yeah, I suck at this. Misattunement is your greatest fear. It's your brain telling you, what if they don't like what I'm saying? What if they're offended? The biggest thing that I would suggest for you to overcome this, because it is going to require courage, because if you continue to have this bland, boring brand and content and message online, you're not going to attract clients from it. You can still get plenty of clients, referrals and word of mouth. But if your goal is to attract clients through the creative energy you put out there, it is not going to happen, and it will not happen at a consistent level. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's true. It requires courage. It requires your voice and you owning it. And it requires you making peace with knowing you are going to repel a lot of people. If you really share your actual values, your actual perspectives, how you actually think and see the world, you are going to repel a lot of people. You are going to misattune with a lot of people. The more you can develop a tolerance and then an acceptance of that, the faster you can grow with your business. One thing that really helped me was realizing that the way people misattune or didn't resonate is rarely the way I think it'll go. I used to have really high quality camera, high quality lighting, high quality microphone. I'm just filming this video on my laptop right now. There's no lighting here. And I sold my house. My wife and I, we moved into a 45-foot RV. We traveled the country. We traveled America full time for over 3 years in a 45-foot RV with her 2 little ones. And I was making content. I was making customized videos for potential clients this whole time. And there were times where I'm outside in the middle of nowhere with shit internet, bright light beaming on my face. So like half of my face is like neon white, and the other half is a dark shadow. There's shitty sound. Fire ants are munching on my feet. RV is in the background. And you hear my wife yelling at one of our kids because they're driving her crazy because she's homeschooling both of them. Somebody else is yelling, "Can someone come wipe my ass? Someone wipe my butt, wipe my butt." And all this is going into a video to a prospective client. And I thought, surely I'm fucked. No one's going to take me seriously. No one's going to buy. No one's going to want this. And I was half right. There were a lot of people that did not like it. But you know who did? My people. The people that share my values, my perspective, the way I see the world. The people that applauded the courage it took to do that applauded the authenticity required to drop all veneers, all image consciousness. This is who I am unapologetically. This is where I am unapologetically. I'm coming to you in the middle of nowhere with an RV, with a toddler having digestive issues and fire ants chewing my feet to shreds. Here I am. And my people loved that. And actually did a lot of business. My business actually had the most profitable year yet while I was living in an RV traveling around America doing this. People that didn't like it did not share those values. That cared a lot more about professionalism, about having the right image. These are not my people. Because they're fucking boring. For a number of reasons we're not going to get into right now. But my point is, you will misattune. You will. It is impossible to resonate with everyone. Stop trying to. Be intentional with who you want to resonate with. Be very clear on the values of the person you want to attract into your coaching business with your content. If you are clear on who you want to attract and who you want to repel, and you make peace with that, I know it's not easy. It takes a lot of guts to do this. But if you make peace with that, that person wants you to turn up the saturation, the volume more on your weird quirks, your unique characteristics, your actual authentic perspectives, opinions, things that are controversial and where you stand on them. They want more of that. They want you out of the safe gray zone in the middle where there's not a lot of emotion. There's not a lot of passion and excitement and love, and there's not a lot of anger and sadness and things that you're sick of. They want you to break out of this boring line in the middle, and they want you to really share who you are on a human level instead of stifling that. That dynamic is what builds trust. It is taking that risk. Think about it as well. Think about it from this perspective. Again, you can talk about these things. You can talk about the guts to make transitions, to have hard conversations, to put your foot down, to set better standards for yourself, to set boundaries, to find where you're out of integrity and to close the gap. You can talk about those things. But if your brand shows them because you're doing what scares you on a daily basis, because you're sharing who you are on a daily basis, and when I say who you are, I don't mean your stories. You can do that. I mean what we've been talking about in this video. You do that, you're modeling. You're modeling what you're talking about. You're walking the talk. You're embodying the message, not just sharing it. You're embodying it. That is the most magnetic thing that you can be to your potential clients. Talking about something and showing it simultaneously. That is the gap you are crossing. That is why it feels so daunting to step into the spotlight. It is your fear of misattunement. You cannot resonate with everyone. Stop trying to. That's also a large reason why you're having a hard time deciding who your ideal client is. It's not just a psychological strategy. It's not that you're just unclear. You can't quite think your way there. It's because the more you start getting specific on who your ideal client is, the more you're going to have to make the decision to start turning the wrong people away. And there might be a fear that practically you miss out on business, which is bullshit, because no matter the values, no matter where you narrow down, and I'm not talking about the demographics of your ideal client, again, I'm talking about the values of your ideal client. No matter how far you narrow down those values, there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that share the same values as you. There's plenty of people out there. It's not just the practical side of it, though. You're going to have to confront the emotional side. That's the real reason why you're not specific in who you want to work with yet. It's because if you really go for that kind of person, you are going to alienate those that are not a fit. And you're worried about the backlash. You're worried about what they will think of you. In my experience, the backlash is really never 1/10 of what you think it's going to be. Your biggest threat, the biggest danger to you and your business is boring people right now. That's your biggest threat. It's boring your audience. That is the biggest thing working against you right now. There's plenty of people out there for you. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Plenty of fish in the sea, brother. And you'll find that once you really dial in, that helps you even think of your ideal client as just a person. You're creating content, you're putting it out there, instead of thinking how many people, how much engagement, how many clients can I get? Just focus on every time I create something, it's for one person. If you even want to think of yourself, that's fine too. Just visualize one person. That's your ideal client, real, imaginary, whatever. One person, the exact same values as you. That's who you're creating for. That's where all your creative energy is going right to. Stop giving a fuck if people outside of that don't like it. If people outside of that disagree. If they do, it's a good thing. Now you have a discussion. Now you have a conversation. That's great. Because now we really, as an audience, get to see if you walk the talk. Not with what you say, but just how you embrace the debate, the discussion, the disagreement. It's another opportunity to show you embody the talk. That's the biggest reason why it's daunting to step into the spotlight. So hopefully that helps clear things up. And I think this is a good time to stop this video. All the best to you. Take care and have an awesome rest of your day.